computer. So we have an awesome guest speaker tonight. Her name is Morgan, and Morgan and I met last year in October at the Fit and Fierce Leadership Retreat in Las Vegas. And I was just telling on her team call, her and so many of those girls were such big inspirations for me. When I got started out, they were, just leading the way for me and showing me like how to show up on social media every day and how to invite and how to step out of your comfort zone. And Morgan has like this last year and a half, she has found, I don't know if you follow her or not, but she has found her voice and her truth and her passion. And it is so clear, and she is just on fire. And I'm so excited that she's going to speak to us and just, share any nuggets that she has that she's been doing with her team, and that, overcoming some mindset things, because we all start somewhere and we all have limiting beliefs when we get started. And she is just a powerhouse and crushing all of those fears that she's had. So I'm going to be quiet and let Morgan take the lead.
Thank y'all for having me. I love Brooke, and I know y'all already know this, but you have an incredible leader, and just glad that we connected last year and can continue to help each other out. So I just wanted to start with a little bit of my story. I won't bore you with it for too long, but it's kind of important for I feel like my progression through coaching. So when I first became a coach, I had my oldest was 7 months old. My husband was deployed. I was working as a nurse. And I also had an eating disorder that I had struggled with for 11 years. Even through my pregnancy, it wasn't pretty. And after Cooper was born, you look your baby in the eye for the first time, and a lot changes. And so I knew that I had to do something different. And so for the first few months of his life, I did really well. I was in charge of myself. And then as the baby weight was not coming off, I sort of felt myself slipping back to where I had been. And becoming a mom just makes you such a different person. And I just didn't want to be that way anymore. So around that same time, the girl who is my upline, but was my sister-in-law, decided to join as a coach. I'm 3 levels down on Megan E. Wilson's team. So my sister-in-law's name is also Megan. So Megan signed up, and she's like, "You're going to be my first coach. You have to do this." And I was like, "No, I don't," because we've been laughing at these girls for a year, like texting about how ridiculous this whole Beachbody thing is. So no, I don't have to do this. Thanks. And then I watched her for 2 weeks. Literally, that's all it took. And y'all, it wasn't like she knew what she was doing. She just was starting off as a new coach that we all hope and pray our new coaches will do. And she just posted and did the things, and she looked happy. And I was like, okay, I think I'm going to do this now. And so I did. I decided to sign up. And when I joined, I decided to be a coach and be a challenger all in the same day. So I started with 21 Day Fix, but I also shared my coming out post that day. And when I look back at it, when it pops up in my timeline, I'm like, oh, sister, what were you thinking? But that's not the point, right? We want our coaches to just do it and learn as they go. So I started, literally 21 Day Fix changed my life as far as the eating disorder goes. It taught me how to have freedom from food. It taught me the balance and all the amazing things that the containers do for us, right? So I won't go into all that. But so I started as a coach, I started as a challenger, and I just felt so much conviction because of what I was feeling on the inside. And I just knew this is what I'm going to do, and this is how I'm going to come home from nursing. So I needed to make $700 a month to make that a reality. Cause I don't know, for any of you who pay for childcare, it ain't cheap. So by the time I was working, paying for childcare, basically $700 a month is what I had left over. That was my goal, replace that. So I did that. And then So that was year 1. Y'all have been a coach for 5 years. Year 2 and year 3, I averaged about $1,100 to $1,200 a month. And the tips I'm going to give y'all will go deeper into all of this. But there came a point, and it was at the end of 2017, and it was so funny listening to Brooke. She hasn't been a coach as long as I have, but she had this same moment where it's like, okay, either I'm going to quit or I'm going to do this in a way that actually is going to take me somewhere, because $1,200 a month was amazing. Like, thank goodness for that and what it allowed for us to do for our family. But I was just in this place where I felt I was comparing myself to other people who were moving beyond me. And we'll talk about limiting beliefs, but I thought, like, I can never be a leader like that. I can never take this to the next level. And in the fall of 2017, I almost quit. Like, I just was like, I'll just go back to work. Thank God I didn't. And, I just did a lot of personal growth and worked on myself a lot. And I just decided, like, no, you're just going to go do the things. You're just going to figure it out. You're going to work through the limiting beliefs that you have. And everything changed in 2018 because I changed my actions. I changed what I was doing, the way I was showing up, the excuses that I was telling myself. I was famous for saying, I don't have time. I don't have time to post every single day. I don't have time to invite. These kids are driving me crazy. I had Coy in the meantime. I have this newborn. My husband's gone all the time because he was in the Marine Corps. Like, I can't do it. It was just me justifying the limiting beliefs that I had. So 2018 was when I just decided, like, you're just going to do the things. And so I kind of made bullet points of what I feel like were the things that have taken my business to a different level over the past year and a half. And the first one is, what's funny, it was the first thing Brooke talked about too on my team call. And I feel like from listening to her, you guys already do a really great job of this, but that's talking about the coaching opportunity. I maybe talked about it once or twice a month prior to 2018 because I just was fearful. I was afraid of judgment. I had, some family members who made like snide remarks, and because I struggled for a long time myself with confidence, I just, was almost like embarrassed to talk about it. Not embarrassed of it, but embarrassed to talk about it for fear of what people were going to think. And so I think for that, you have to get really in touch with your vision and your conviction. And then it becomes so much easier to talk about it, especially too when you block out what the heck somebody may or may not be thinking. A lot of times I think we make up in our heads what somebody's thinking when really that's probably not even the case. But so talk about coaching as often as possible in your stories, post about it 3-4 times a week. And I think one thing specifically in 2019 that I've done more is, and we were talking about income on my call too. So I struggle a lot, honestly, with talking numbers. But what I have figured out is really something that my niche is attracted to is talking about things like debt, student loan payoff, taking your kids on vacation, wanting to go on those vacations that you can't afford, like really getting in touch with like the struggles that my people have. So when I talk about stuff like that, it tends to really resonate. And that might not be your niche, so figure out the thing that your person, and maybe this is your story, right? Like you attract who you are and what your story is. So figure out the things about coaching that are true to you, what your vision is, what your outlook is, what your hangups were in the beginning, and talk about those things. And the more you do it, the more you talk about it, you'll figure out the pieces of your story that people resonate with. Number 2 is to work through your limiting beliefs. And I know, like, this probably sounds like preaching to the choir, and we hear this all of the time, but I swear it was not the only difference maker for me in 2018, but had I not taken time to figure out what was actually holding me back and work through that, I couldn't have done what I did in 2018. So if you don't know what your limiting beliefs are, I think that's the hardest part. Once you know what it is, you can read personal development that relates to that, or you can talk to somebody who's had that same struggle, or you can listen to a podcast about that, right? But maybe figuring it out is the hardest part. And I wish I had like some amazing tip to tell you how to do that. The only tip I really have to, yeah, it is the hardest part to figuring that out, is like paying attention to what you tell yourself, like on a subconscious level. Are there things that you say to yourself on a daily basis, maybe in regards to the way you look, but specifically in regards to this business? And the things that I was whispering to myself was, I can never be a leader like Courtney Bell. I can never be a leader like Megan E. Wilton. I can never be a leader like Carrie Legal. And people who make lots of money are miserable. Like, those were the things that were happening in my head. So what I had to do was get really in touch with the fact that having a really incredible income wasn't going to make me a miserable person if I continued to stay true to who I am and stayed grateful and, you know, true to the vision of what this is supposed to be, and work through I have great parents, you guys. My mom and dad are angels, but that's just what I can hear them saying as we were growing up, you know, and we didn't want for anything, but even like listening to the news or my mom talking about a friend or whatever, it was always like, money doesn't make you happy. Just because people have lots of money, sometimes they're miserable, you know? And so that was just like really ingrained and something that I had to work through. So figure out what that limiting belief is. And then, like I said, podcast, personal development, like the tangible stuff that you can do to work through that. But then you also just have to like buck up as a human being and talk yourself out of that. I can't tell you the number of times I've stopped and looked in the mirror that's in our like hallway when I say something negative to myself, go to the mirror and be like, no ma'am, shut up, and then replace it with whatever the opposite is of what you just said to yourself. Like, I know it sounds so corny and woo-woo and whatever, but it works when you look at yourself and you just replace that and talk life, breathe life into yourself. Okay, so number 3, show up as the coach you want to be. I remember too in 2018, I think I was talking to myself in the mirror actually, but I was like, if you want to be an elite coach, you got to talk like an elite coach and you have to show up like an elite coach. And at that point, I was showing up when I wanted to. Like, I was posting every day. I feel like I've always been good at posting, but vital behaviors, when I wanted to. So show up like the coach you want to be. If you are saying you want to be a diamond or an emerald or a 5-star or whatever, think about the coaches that you know who are at that rank and ask yourself, like, what are they doing? Maybe it's more than what you're doing, so show up like that. And then this is like super tangible, but make sure that in that showing up as the coach you want to be, that your social media, like the actual pictures reflect that. I don't think you need to go spend $50 on a preset, but stand in front of a mirror or, make your pictures bright and appealing. Otherwise, people really will just scroll right past them. And I mentioned that because like my social media sucked prior to like deciding to show up like the coach I wanted to be. Okay, so number 4, invite. Show up to your business even when you don't feel like it. I literally, at the end of 2018, said to myself, to our team, like, honestly, this year, I don't even care if we finish the year and we miss every single goal that we've set, if every single one of us shows up every single day with excitement and conviction and passion and does the things. Like, if you finish the day and you lay your head down on the pillow and you've done what you needed to do, then like, wash your hands, sleep good, and know that you've done your best. Like I said, I made so many excuses about, I don't have enough time. I can't be a mom and have a deployed husband and do this. And like, it was just excuses. So no matter what, even when you don't feel like it, show up to your business, because consistency compounds. And, you know, today, maybe you feel like, oh, am I ever going to get there? But what if you spent 12 months showing up relentlessly, believing in yourself, believing in this process, believing in this business? What would happen? Oh, I got all the chills. What would happen 12 months later and you looked back over that period of time? I guarantee you'd be further than where you are right now. So show up. And then the last thing I have is put your blinders on. I think because I have been a coach for a while, and even in 2018, I struggled with this a lot, but especially in 2017, like I said, I was watching coaches pass me. It's not like it's a competition. But I was looking to my left and looking to my right instead of looking to myself for what I was capable of and where I needed to improve, like the things that I was in control of. I think when we, see, I love recognition. I'm driven by recognition, but also sometimes recognition can derail you. So you have to just, in your heart, like, love so much to see other people succeed and be so happy for them, but also like put your blinders back on and go back to work on what you need to do. And I think that for me, part of that was, like Brooke said at the beginning, I just got super duper duper in touch with me, with what my vision was, what my truth was, the kind of women that I want to have on my team, the vision that we have as a team, what we want to do together. And that is where I focus. I try to not compare. And it's like the hardest thing in the world to not compare yourself to other coaches, or whether they're on your team or, somebody that you follow on social media. But when you do that, it's like it steals a little bit of your thunder and it dulls your sparkle, because when I compare myself, I go down this rabbit hole of like, I'm not good enough. I'm not like her. I don't have her hair. I don't have her body. I don't have her words. And then what happens? Then you're like sucking all the joy out of what you do have. So put your blinders on, show up every single day. And I think when you get really in touch with your vision and your truth, and that's where you focus, so much changes, so much happens. I talked really fast. Do you have any questions or anything else you want me to talk about?
That was awesome. So much good stuff packed in that 23 minutes. I know I had a question. I'm sure we were a very talkative questioning group, so I'm sure we'll have some. So when you said you talk about coaching and like you figure out your niches, struggles, like you said, like debt and student loan and vacation. So I don't remember if you said it or not. Like, is that kind of like, did you figure that out by like conversations, or did you figure that out by like, because if you relate to that and it's your struggles, or how do you figure out that?
So I think I have figured that out through posting. And also, like, in 2018, some of the ladies who joined my team had like super specific goals that related to student loan payoff, or I have one coach that's super driven by trips and vacations, and she's like, I'm going to save X amount of dollars so that we can go here. And so one day I posted about that, and I had a lot of, let's be real, like 3 comments, but on a coaching post, like that's a lot of engagement, right? So I was like, people reacted to that. So then I posted again about debt. And then I posted, again, a week or so later about student loans and mortgage maybe or something. And so I honestly, I think I just stumbled on it by talking about different aspects of coaching. And that seems to be something that really resonates with people. So yeah, I would say I did sort of figure that out at first by coaches on my team, and that was their goals. But then trial and error through posting too.
That makes total sense. I get that. Do you have a posting schedule, or what's that look like?
Actually, I have a calendar now and I'm using it, or a planner. I'm like the most unorganized person on the face of the planet. So what I try to do for posting is I don't have like a daily post this today. But at the beginning of the month, I always, like, we make our monthly plan for what we're going to do in our team page, or for our team. So I try to direct my post each week based on what we have coming up the following week. But no, I don't have like a Motivation Monday, that kind of thing. And I do try to talk about coaching, like a big call to action post on Sunday nights, and then sprinkle it in throughout the week.
When you call to action, do you are you inviting to just like coaching, or just like a sneak peek? Or sometimes I struggle with call to action posts with coaching. I don't know, what does that look like for you?
Yeah, I'm kind of the same. Like, I think I posted a call to action last night and not Sunday. Wait, last night is Sunday. And so it was just more like, join us. But if I have a sneak peek, then I definitely do like a specific one to the sneak peek. Or sometimes I do, like, I have a really awesome sneak peek that it just turned out to be a really good call that people have signed up from. So a couple of times I've said, like, I have this informational webinar that I can send you. So if you have a recording saved. Yeah, I guess that's kind of it. Just like a generic join me, or to a specific sneak peek.
That's a good idea about having like a recorded, because a lot of us are about to do our own sneak peek for the first time. So like that'll be a good idea to like maybe save those, and so that we can share when we're not doing sneak peek.
Right. That's what I was going to say. I love to use like third-party tools, like in Fit and Fierce, when I think it was Brittany created that amazing Canva document with like the breakdown of all the stuff. I kind of broke that apart. So I have like a ultimate portion fix, a to be mindset. And then I use that coaching video a lot when I'm just inviting to coaching and I don't have a sneak peek coming up. I'll just say, like, after we've talked about it, okay, I have a video that I'd love to send you. If I send it, would you watch it?
Okay, I'm going to mute myself. So if anyone else has a question, ask.
What is your most effective way for recruiting coaches? I feel like I'm good at hitting Success Club, but I can never get people to be coaches.
Well, Brooke, I don't know what you teach your team, but I offer the coaching opportunity to every single person that I sign up. I send everybody the exact same message. But it's not just hey, you can join for the discount. Like it says that, of course. Then I reference like my dad's a coach, but he's not coaching anybody. He just enjoys his discount. However, if you ever decide you would like to earn money or create an income on the side, we can definitely talk about that. So I think putting that in there, and I just implemented that probably, well, I've always offered the discount, but like adding that little sentence maybe 6 or 8 months ago, I do think that makes a difference because it plants a seed. And then I send every single coach that signs up, whether they're for the discount or not, my welcome email. In it, it has a video that I recorded where I talk about like discount versus working coach. And I ask them to text me after they've watched it and let me know where they are. So a couple of times, somebody signed up for the discount and they're like, but maybe I want to get my Shakeology paid for. So that's helpful. And then, I invite to coaching. I invite to sneak peeks. I talk about coaching. I think that probably my most effective, way to when I think about the coaches that I have right now that are actually engaged and excited and working, they started either in a free group or as a challenger. I invite to coaching without talking about my boot camp or, to people who have never been a part of our stuff before. And I have lots of ladies on my team who said yes via that type of invite, but they're not the working coaches thus far. They're super consistent on their journey. They just haven't decided to coach yet. Erica Shea started in a free group. We talked for 2 years before she said yes. And now she's like going to be diamond very soon. So I think, get in a groove with the consistency of just talking about coaching, inviting to coaching. Like Brooke said, host your own sneak peek, and don't, if she tells y'all not to sign up everybody as a discount coach, clearly follow her lead. But that's what I do.
Can you say again because we do like, kind of the same thing, like present the coaching opportunity straight up front. But you said, what's been the biggest game changer where you just said, like, if you want to build an income later down the road?
Yep. I'll paste my, I literally have it saved right here.
Send it to everybody.
And I'll send it to everybody. And like some people say no, because at the end I say, the link I send you is a little bit different, so just let me know either way. So there's no pressure. Some people are like, heck yeah, I want the discount. And other people are like, no thanks.
Thank you.
Welcome.
I'll copy and paste it. All right. What other questions do you guys have? Do you have any like top recommendations for personal development right now?
I don't know. I didn't want to say the word in case kids are around, but this book is so good. This is a really good like mindset limiting belief book. Another one that I love is The Slight Edge. It's kind of like, have y'all read that? It's kind of like the idea of the compound effect, consistency over time, but it's like, what is the slight edge that you have? And it's just as easy to do those things as it is not to do those things. And the 5-second rule. Those are probably my top 3. Business, obviously, Rachel Hollis.
All right, I'll go. Hey, Morgan.
Hey, girl.
Sorry, Brooke. I have a question. So speaking of inviting, what are like your daily, weekly, monthly, like, do you set goals for yourself on how many invites to send out?
Yes. I was just having this conversation with, I don't know if y'all know Krista Hunt. She's one of my success partners. And I went down the whole path of like 50 invites a day after Heather Shipley's National Wake Up Call. And after about 3 days, I was like, yo, I don't even know who I've talked to. I cannot keep up with all of this. And that may sound like an excuse, but for me, I find much better success when I'm building relationships with people and inviting 5 to 10 people a day or 50 people a week. And my Success Club numbers are not like ginormous. I think probably the highest number I've ever hit in a month was 48. I average like 16 to 22 or 24. But I spend a lot of time talking to people. But I don't send a bajillion invites every single day. I do love peanut butter and jelly invites. I don't know if y'all do that. Brooke, just like you said on my call, listen to so much stuff I can never remember people's names. It was the National Wake Up Call, like in 2018, I think. But it sort of helped me get comfortable with sending cold invites because, I was, like I said, I've been a coach for 5 years. In the beginning, for me, we were taught form and then invite. So talk to people about their family, their occupation, their recreation. Who the heck has recreations, really? And then the M stood for the message. So the message that you're going to send to people about the opportunity or the boot camp or whatever. And so like that's how I built the foundation of my business from $700 a month, $1,200 a month, that. And then again, in 2018, when you want to take things to the next level, you realize like, okay, you've got to do something different. If you keep doing the same thing you're doing, you're going to stay where you are. So I knew that I needed to invite more, but I also needed to really reach people that I hadn't talked to yet. So this whole peanut butter and jelly invite thing is super simple. It's like a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. You have your top bread, your peanut butter, your jelly, and your bottom bread. The top bread is like your hey girl. Hey mama, hey whatever your name is. I see you following me. Your kids are gorgeous. Like you send the connection message and the invite in the same message. Your bread, now I can't remember the difference in the jelly and the peanut butter. But anyways, you warm it up. You simply say, I see you following. Not sure if you'd be interested, but I have this boot camp coming up. I'd love to tell you more about it. Are you interested? And then the bottom bread is, if not, no worries. It's totally fine. Just super excited to talk to you. Let me know either way. And I have found here, no, I don't have it on my computer. I'll send you one of my peanut butter and jelly scripts. But I found that last sentence lets people off the hook, and it's like it gives them permission to reply. So how many times do we invite, and we don't hear anything? When I started inviting this way, I started getting more response. Even if it was more no's, it was at least a response. And then the other thing about, and this is true for any type of invite, is that as you're tracking the people that you send these to, a couple of days later, if they don't respond, you send them, what I say is, hey, hope you're having a great day. Just wanted to see if you saw my invite above. And I actually call it an invite. Or if they do respond and they say no, then I just make sure to go back and continue the conversation so that people know, okay, yeah, I did invite you. I told you what I'm about. I gave you the opportunity to join me, but I also want to get to know you more. Oh, okay. Thank you.
It sounds like our kind of the way our team invites is very similar to that style. So that's good. So I like it.
I wish I could remember the girl's name that like coined it, peanut butter and jelly. But I mean, I've had, and it was so weird for me to implement like a cold invite process. But it amazed me because I wasn't just sending this to every single person that watched my stories. Like, I was sending this to people, who were paying attention, but also people that I felt like would genuinely enjoy our team, or, like y'all do so much together, right? So like I'm inviting people that I can walk into a room with and like have fun with and feel natural with. And I think that was something that I had to get okay with too, was like, if you see somebody on social media and their vibe is like, it's okay to not invite them, even if they follow your stories. Like, I don't, and I guess that could go either way. Like, you want to help people who maybe are struggling in that way, but just, it's okay to not invite every single person.
Erica has a question. How do you make time for work, then cut it off to go back to family, even when you know people may be replying back? Like, fight the urge to reply back.
I don't have Facebook Messenger notifications on my phone. I check them a lot, and I feel like I work like all day, every day, throughout the day. Maybe not so much now that school's back, praise the Lord. But I was super duper duper bad about seeing a response like, I want to know more, pick it up. And then number one, I wasn't like fully engaged in that conversation because I was also cooking dinner and laying out clothes and trying to talk to Nick, and like I just wasn't all there, right? So number one, for my sanity, but also to make sure that I was like tracking and really engaged in the conversation with that person, I just chose to turn my messenger notifications off. And then when I do sit down at night, or my kids are at school, or don't judge me, they're on their iPads, I can open Messenger and reply and not feel like I'm just like sporadically on the go all day, every day.
I heard someone say too, and I kind of base it off this, like, if you are constantly like replying always to some, at the drop of a hat, like that's what they're going to feel is expected of them if they become a coach, that like they always, so it's kind of like they're teaching them to like respect your time and you're respecting their time. And I know that has released the pressure of like, like they know I'm a mom. They know I like have 3 little kids that are crazy, or, you're that you're running a business on the side, you can't answer. So, I think people respect that time to getting back to them in a timely manner. But if you don't, like, it's teaching them like, you're not going to be there all the time at a drop of a hat.
Right. I do think that's true. And I've heard somebody say that before too. Like, it truly does make them think that's what they have to do. Because in the beginning, I had a couple of ladies say like, I can't do what you do. I don't have that much time to be on all the time. But it was because I was on all of the time and I didn't have any boundaries.
All right, we want to respect your time. So I'm going to give one, if there's one more question left out there. There she is.
I do. I just looked at your Instagram and it is really pretty. Do you have a filter that you purchased, or what? I'm always curious what people do with that. I've never looked into that.
I use one called Light and Airy. Etsy has like so many, and you can get them for like $5. They're not super duper expensive. And, you know, I started to write this down, but I didn't want to like go into a whole ton of social media, but I definitely got caught up at the like end of 2018 with like spending so much time trying to make my picture look perfect that I was completely missing the point of like sharing my story and just connecting with people. So I do slap my preset on everything, and it just makes it all look uniform. But, you know, I think like, yeah, it's awesome when you see an Instagram and it looks gorgeous, but I just was spending way too much time trying to make my picture look like Emily Favre.
Thank you.
Yeah, your Instagram and like Facebook posts definitely made me step up mine. So I remember when you said like be the coach, like act like the coach, and I remember being like, oh man, like your pictures are so great, like clear and bright, and like, you know, they made people stop. I think that for a long time, and I know that's what a lot of new coaches fall into. It's like, yeah, I posted, but like, and sometimes you have the best worded post, but like in this social media world where it's just there's so much on there. If it's not like, it doesn't have to be the best picture, but like a picture that's gonna make someone stop, it might completely miss what you say. So you do a great job of that, Morgan. All right, all that to say, thank you so much, Morgan. That was, I mean, we could probably chat for another 30 minutes, but it's like 10:15 on your side of the state. So we'll let you get to bed. And yeah, thanks for breathing life into us and just sharing your nuggets. I know we have not done a lot of work on limiting beliefs in our team, so that's definitely something that we're gonna grow from. So thank you so much, Morgan.
Welcome. Y'all have a good night.